Greetings. I know it's been a while since an upload, and I figure if we're going to jump back into it, we'll continue with some Elder Scrolls lore. Today we will be discussing the path to Lichdom, as well as the different variants found throughout Tamriel. Hope you enjoy. Liches stand as undead necromancers who have fully embraced Lichdom, a pinnacle form of undeath. The transformation into a lich, a self-reanimated corpse, is a feat few necromancers have achieved. Despite the scarcity of successful transformations, the aspiration towards Lichdom remains a paramount goal within the necromantic community. The path to becoming a lich is shrouded in mystery with limited accessible information and a myriad of hidden details. In becoming a lich, there are several requirements. First and foremost, a mastery of the dark arts. Only necromancers with profound mastery of the dark arts can attempt to manipulate their own souls to achieve lichdom. This journey demands the sacrifice of one's soul and mortal form, a risky endeavor that can lead to madness, apathy, and megalomania. The considerable time and effort required to achieve lichdom make it a rare and perilous path. A powerful magical relic and a significant number of living souls form the core requirements for the ascension process. The would-be lich must cast a potent spell utilizing the relic as a focus, which wrenches the souls from their bodies in an excruciatingly painful process. This deliberate agony is pivotal for the ritual's success, ensuring the crucial torture of souls for lichdom ascension. Another crucial step in the lichdom process involves the transference of the necromancer's own soul into a physical object. While folklore suggests the destruction of this object can eliminate the lich, in reality, the object's importance ceases upon the completion of the soul transference. The lich's existence is not bound to the physical object post-transference. However, any damage to or loss of the object before the completion of the transference interrupts the ascension process and results in the immediate death of the aspiring lich. Notably, a renowned ritual involves the creation of a special hourglass, known as the Sands of Resolve, to hold the necromancer's soul during the intricate process. The large majority of liches are often selfish and power-hungry. They leave a trail of destruction in their quest for souls, and they are remarkably intelligent and potent beings. Liches typically can be found hidden away in tombs, and can disguise their true form using illusion magic, making encounters rare and dangerous. Throughout the Elder Scrolls series, there have been numerous encounters with liches, some more consequential than others. The first on our list is, of course, Mannimarco. He was dubbed the world's first of the undying liches, even though immortal liches had existed before him. Over time, his human form deteriorated, turning him into a grotesque, moving corpse. For a deeper dive into Mannimarco, take a look at my last video, Necromancy and the Dark Arts. Next on our list is the Underking. Occasionally termed as the Evil One, is an enigmatic character in Tamrielic lore. His existence traced back to the Third Era and possibly before. He led legions comprising both the living and the undead, known as his agents. Despite his extensive following, he was at odds with Mannimarco, the King of Worms, and his necromancers. His significance was particularly highlighted during the events leading up to and during the Warp in the West in 417 the Third Era in the Iliac Bay region. Dating back to the onset of the Septim Dynasty, the Underking has been described in various ways. Some narratives cast him as an ancient and formidable lich, or a figure similar to one. Another legend hails him as the mightiest mage to ever exist, who underwent a transformative experience upon losing his heart. As a result, he neither lived nor died in the truest sense. Although these tales hold a degree of truth, the actual identity of the Underking remains debatable. If the Underking himself is to be believed, then he is Zurin Arctus, the battle mage of Emperor Tiber Septim. Some associate him with the god of magic, Magnus. However, another theory identifies him as Izmir Wulfarth, a recurring supernatural entity and an ally to Tiber Septim. The King of Worms is another figure rumored to be the Underking. In the aftermath of the Third Era, with Tiber Septim's reign established, the Underking's influence persisted. The holy site of Sacred Tor, cursed by the Underking, and his advisory role to Emperor Pelagius are crucial events. During the Imperial Simulacrum, the Eternal Champion's encounters with the Underking are also noteworthy. The Warp in the West was another significant episode involving the Underking. His association with Prince Arthagos' disappearance and subsequent investigations further underlines his impact on the history of Tamriel. Celamarl Lightbringer, often referred to as the Sorcerer King or Celamarl the Great, was a prominent Aelid ruler and necromancer during the First Era. Celamarl's thirst for power led him to amass an undead army, intending to dominate Tamriel. However, his aspirations were thwarted by a rebellion helmed by his brother Valentus and fellow Aelid kings. Utilizing the power of Varla stones and an Elder Scroll, Valentus conducted a ritual that sealed Celamarl beneath a marble statue crafted in his image. Following his victory, Valentus sought to erase all traces of Celamarl's reign and founded the town of Rivercrest over the very site of the imprisoning statue. Around 180 the Fourth Era, the Bloodfall Queen's forces inadvertently freed Celamarl while attempting to intimidate the Rivercrest inhabitants. They damaged the statue, unknowingly dispelling the magic that imprisoned the Sorcerer King. With his newfound freedom, Celamarl started plotting the annihilation of Nirn and amass another undead horde. The warrior, upon returning to their hometown of Rivercrest, partnered with Lore Master Sashi to uncover the enigmatic past of Celamarl and his dark intentions. To thwart the Sorcerer King's plans, they endeavored to replicate the original binding ritual. This involved gathering vital components, including Celamarl's crown, 5 Varla stones, an Elder Scroll, and the ritual's incantation. As a vital part of the ritual, a new marble statue replicating the original was also commissioned. As Celamarl's forces besieged Rivercrest, the warrior confronted the Sorcerer King in direct combat to the north of the town. Concurrently, Sashi recited the ritual incantation, warding off the undead onslaught. Emerging victorious from the clash, the warrior successfully resealed Celamarl beneath Rivercrest, restoring peace to the region. Haemon Camoran and the Nightmare Host. The Nightmare Host was an undead army led by a formidable lich, comprising ghosts, skeletons, vampires, and zombies. This horde pledged allegiance to Camoran and played a significant role in the Battle of Whitemoor. This battle was a key event amidst Camoran's invasion of western Tamriel. Before his dominion over the Iliac Bay and concurrent to the Battle of Dragontooth, Camoran dispatched the Nightmare Host to seize the barony of Dwynen for reasons yet to be determined. The tide turned, however, when Othrock emerged with an army of humans and beasts from the wilderness to reclaim Dwynen. The Nightmare Host also engaged in combat with the Order of the Raven. This significant battle, known as the Battle of Whitemoor, occurred in Dwynen's capital city on the 5th of Sun's Dawn in 253, the Third Era. To commemorate their freedom from the Nightmare Host and to honor Baron Othrock's bravery, the citizens of Dwynen Barony celebrate Othrock annually on the 5th of Sun's Dawn. This festival not only marks the liberation, but also emphasizes Othrock's divine mission. Additional legends regarding Camoran asserts that Camoran's army used to subjugate Hammerfell and Valenwood comprised solely of undead and Daedra. Contrary to this, most of his forces were actually Redguards and Bosmer. It remains uncertain if this army had any association with the Nightmare Host. Some have even said Camoran didn't personally lead the host and instead delegated the task to an other lich under his direction. Barilzar, once a skilled mage from the mid-Second Era, is now an undead lich guarding the abandoned crypt of Old Mournhold. He is renowned for crafting the Mazed Band, a potent artifact with a unique capability to bridge the gap between Mundus and Oblivion. This ring allows its user to summon vast numbers of Daedra from Oblivion into Mundus. However, due to the creation of this unholy artifact, Barilzar faced a severe curse. He was condemned to remain on the mortal plane indefinitely, existing as a lich and safeguarding the Mazed Band. Grurn. Grurn was a formidable lich warrior wizard who resided in Fort Firemoth. Along with his undead army, he dramatically emerged from the Inner Sea and captured the Imperial-controlled islet Firemoth. The conquest was not just a territorial gain for Grurn. During the battle, the Imperial Legion also lost a cherished artifact, the Ward of Akavir, a potent shield crafted from dragon skin, which Grurn then started to wield personally. Celes Gravius, an Imperial captain, recounts how Grurn and his undead horde literally marched out of the ocean to overrun the fort. The loss of both the fort and the Ward of Akavir was a significant blow to the Imperial Legion's prestige. Around 427 the Third Era, seeking to restore the Legion's honor, Captain Gravius entrusted the Nerevarine with a mission. The task was to lead a group of mercenaries to reclaim the Ward of Akavir from Grurn. Upon reaching the island, The Nerevarines team managed not only to rescue a Khajiit legionnaire, but miraculously survived for years by consuming the cavern's mushrooms, but also to repel the undead army. In the climactic confrontation, the Nerevarine faced off against Grurn. Despite wielding the powerful ward in combat, Grurn met his end. With their mission accomplished, the Nerevarine and the team returned to Vvardenfell and handed the recovered shield back to the Legion. Aram K, also known as the Dark Adept, was a powerful Khajiit lich from the Order of the Hidden Moon. Originally, he worked diligently redeeming Dromothra in Azura's name. His skills and dedication made him a vital member of the Order, and he was even considered for the honor of wielding the Moonlight Blade, a sacred relic from Azura. However, Destiny had other plans. His peer, Shando Rai, was chosen over him to become the Blade Bearer. This selection fueled Aram K's jealousy and bitterness, leading him to renounce his faith and succumb to the darkness. With his influence, he led many of the Order's adepts astray, igniting a devastating civil war that decimated the Order of the Hidden Moon. Though the remnants of the Order managed to weaken Aram K, they couldn't vanquish him entirely. In a bid to preserve himself, Aram K stored fragments of his spirit in phylacteries, linking them to a dark realm of his creation. Over time, the wards trapping him weakened, allowing his malevolent influence to grow. In 582 the Second Era, the Vestige, an adventurer, came upon the ruins of the Temple of the Hidden Moon. Upon navigating the challenges of the Order and acquiring the Moonlight Blade, the Vestige confronted and defeated Aram K within the Order's crypts. By journeying into this dark realm using the Moonlight Blade, they obliterated his spirit. Following this, the necromancer Vastarie conducted a ritual extracting every trace of light from Aram K's realm. This act inadvertently purified the remnants of Aram K's fractured soul. This redeemed version of Aram K posed no threat to Tamriel, allowing him to transition peacefully to the sands behind the stars with his fellow adepts. Gedna Revel is a prominent lich that resides in Old Mournhold. In her mortal life, Gedna was a formidable sorceress who garnered condemnation for delving into forbidden magics. Unbeknownst to many, she had acquired the ability to defy death, allowing her to persist as a lich after her burial beneath Mournhold. Interestingly, Gedna was intended to have a voice in the game. Within the Elder Scrolls construction set, there's a voice file allocated to her amongst the female Dunmer voiceovers. She was scripted to utter the phrase, "I smell your blood, mortal." However, due to game mechanics, where creatures don't have typical dialogues like NPCs, this line remains untriggered in gameplay. Duthael, better known as the Mad Architect, was a renowned Breton architect during the mid-Second Era. Highly skilled, he originally designed majestic structures for Wayrest nobility, outclassing competitors such as Gestaw Chamrand. The rivalry grew so intense that Gestaw, unable to secure work due to Duthael's dominance, conspired with business allies to tarnish Duthael's reputation. Their efforts drove Duthael to the edge of insanity. In his descent into madness, Duthael turned to the Daedric princes, trading his architectural expertise for vengeance. He earned the title Artisan of Oblivion. Duthael's due allegiance saw him creating structures in the Plains of Oblivion, including the infamous razor pits of the Deadlands and Cold Harbor spires, particularly the Endless Stair. The Mad Architect's magnum opus was the Vaults of Madness, a vast underground complex serving dual purposes. It was both a temple deriding the 8 divines in honor of Molag Bal and a perpetual torture chamber for his adversaries. Foremost among his captives was Gestaw and his co-conspirators, whose souls were eternally tormented within the vaults. As time progressed, the vaults grew, incarcerating numerous souls from Tamriel, many dispatched by the Daedric princes for Duthael's special treatment. After the Soul Burst in 578 the Second Era, Molag Bal commissioned Duthael to fashion the planar vortex within the Endless Stair, a place where 2 planes merged. By 582 the Second Era, the Undaunted ventured into the vaults. They were approached by Gestaw's spirit, who promised to guide them out in exchange for assistance in battling the Daedra and liberating the ensnared souls. This culminated in a confrontation with the Mad Architect, resulting in his defeat. Vastarie, also recognized as the Witch of Azura and an Altmer Lich, is renowned for her profound study of souls, which significantly contributed to the realm of necromancy. Before embracing the dark arts, Vastarie was a scholar on Artaeum, studying with the illustrious Sigic monks like Vanus Galerian and Metamarco. It's believed that she pioneers the use of sigil geodes for spirit binding and introduced black soul gems to Tamriel after venturing into Cold Harbor. Religious at heart, Vastarie was a devout follower of the Daedric prince Azura. After parting ways with Venice, she became a lich, dedicating her existence to serving Azura. During the early Second Era, the Sigic Order faced an internal conflict over the study of necromancy, resulting in its banishment. Vastarie, alongside her future husband Telekar, in support of Metamarco, left the Order and joined the Worm Cult to intensify her research. In her pursuit of knowledge, Vastarie, alongside Metamarco, turned to Cold Harbor, the dominion of the Daedric prince Molag. There, Vastarie obtained black soul gems, which she later refined to create the first sigil geode. Differences in the intended use of this powerful artifact led to a rift between her and Metamarco. Escaping with Telekar, whom she had married by then, they found sanctuary in Valenwood. Despite her dark pursuits, Vastarie stands out as one of the few necromancers who utilize their power for noble causes. Concealing her lich status through illusions, her life remains intertwined with personal tragedies and the relentless quest for knowledge. Now that we've discussed the traditional types of liches found in Tamriel, it's time we discuss some of the other, more rare variants. First of which is posthumous transformation. Necromancy has the capability to turn individuals into liches, regardless of whether they practice necromancy during their lifetime. Naaman. Prince Naaman, the eldest son of King Hydaelith and Kin Lady Twyndon, was named heir following the disappearance of his elder sister, Iron. He dedicated nearly a decade studying the royal ceremoniarchy in anticipation of his impending rule, and in 575, the Second Era, he entered the Sapiarch's Labyrinth. Naaman embraced the traditional duties of an heir, and upon King Hydaelith's death in 580, the Second Era, began preparing for his coronation. Yet, Iron's unexpected return on the 7th of Frostfall led her to assume the throne of Alinor. Naaman was wed to High Kin Lady Estri, Skywatch's Kinenreeve. During 582, the Second Era, Alliance War, both accompanied Queen Iron across Aldmeri Dominion territories. A turning point occurred when Iron commanded Estri's execution for leading the Veiled Heritance, an Altmeri nationalist faction. Despite his grief over Estri's death, Naaman continued his duties, which included orchestrating Iron's ratification ceremony in the orrery of Eldenroot. However, he betrayed Iron there, undergoing a painful transformation into an Ogrim, and in his fury was killed. Queen Iron concealed the true nature of his death, asserting he died heroically. Vicereeve Peladil, Naaman's loyal aide and the new leader of the Veiled Heritance remnants, retrieved his body. Using the stolen staff of Magnus, Peladil resurrected Naaman as a lich, intending to turn Valenwood into a realm of darkness called the Shadowwood. When Naaman tried to corrupt the heart of Valenwood, he was defeated by Dominion forces. In the afterlife, Molag claimed Naaman's soul, subjecting him to eternal torture in his Heart's Grief Palace in Cold Harbor. Although the 5 companions encountered him there, they couldn't alleviate his suffering. Yet, it's believed Naaman's spirit eventually transitioned to Aetherius. Another instance of posthumous lich transformation is Spinner Indeniel. Spinner Indeniel is the chief spinner responsible for guarding owls and protecting it from intruders who might disturb the Oathbreaker spirits interred within. Initially, she can be located at an altar near the Grove Center. However, as events unfold, the Worm Cult seizes her body, transporting it to the Cave of Owls, where they resurrect her as a lich. To liberate her, one must utilize the Totem of Ifre to subdue and free her. The Void Lich. Void Mothers, often referred to as Void Liches, have the ability to consume the souls of those they prey upon. Unlike traditional liches, they fall under the category of shades, dark, malevolent spirits deeply influenced by Namera's energy, particularly from sources like the Dark Heart. The Demi-Lich. Zeraphis was a unique entity known as a Demi-Lich. He possessed a magical gem that could reveal the location of the Crystal Tower, and he is the only known example of this kind. Dragon Priests. The undead protectors of Skyrim's arcane secrets. Dragon Priests were once influential rulers of Skyrim, leading at the whim of their dragon masters thousands of years ago. These priests, originally members of the dragon cult of ancient Skyrim, were not only political leaders, but also highly skilled in the arcane arts. A number of them even achieved Lichdom, averting death and safeguarding their powers through eternal worship by their Draugr servants. They now lie in wait in various ancient tombs and temples across Skyrim. with some sealed away and imprisoned using the 4 sacred fires maintained by the priests of Kine. These resting places, often housing word walls and situated in areas of prominent dragon worship, become sites of peril should their peaceful slumber be disrupted. When intruders approach, the dragon priest bursts from its sarcophagus, unleashing considerable force and preparing to annihilate any who dare to disturb them. And that concludes today's video on the path to Lichdom. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you thought, or if you have any ideas for future videos in the comment section. If you did enjoy the content, please hit that like button, and if you want to see more varied lore content in the future, hit that subscribe button. Once again, thank you everybody for the support, and I'll see you in the next one.